Maximus Pug welcomes you.
Hello.
To talk about the modern children of Lieutenant Schmidt and the immortality of the classics. More precisely, about the repetition of a historical literary plot now in the form of a modern farce. Not in a literary expression at all.
What kind of profession is this, for God's sake? Son of Lieutenant Schmidt. Well, a year, maybe two. And then your red curls will become familiar and people will start beating you.
And they did become familiar. In Poland, runaway Belarusian extremists were mistaken. Sometimes for Russians, sometimes for Ukrainians, but it doesn't matter. They get beaten, and not because of their passports. They are beaten by ordinary citizens, the Polish state, and its banks.
The ground burns under the feet of the fugitives in Lithuania too.
At the end of July, a store of a Belarusian oppositionist in Vilnius was attacked by unknown people. Damage was around €1,000. The broken glass was complemented by a telling inscription on the facade. "Go home, Belarusian pigs." It can be safely assumed that this message was not only addressed to the seller of French symbols and the homeland trader. The inscriptions and leaflets multiplying on the walls and poles of Lithuanian cities and villages leave no doubt they are not happy with all uninvited guests and are ready to kick them out.
Take off your hats, uncover your heads. Now the body will be carried out.
This spring, the newly appointed head of the Lithuanian Ministry of Defense, Laurynas Kasčiūnas, immediately stated openly to our fugitives, "You have not justified the trust. You are not fighting against the elections. The authorities are not able to launch a broad partisan movement as promised." Of course, the current children of Lieutenant Schmidt were alarmed and immediately made even more foolish mistakes. They began to chant like a mantra in their Telegram channels that the leaflets and graffiti in Lithuania were being spread by agents of the Belarusian KGB. The runaway fraudsters are unable to realize that by saying this, they are talking about the impotence of the Lithuanian special services.
The Bolt news portal is just holding its head.
Protesters with smogars don't even understand that they are insulting the border guard services and the state security department, which are unable to stop the flow of Belarusian spies, scouts, and saboteurs.
And provocateurs.
However, Bolt News is mistaken. The Lithuanians have recognized the spies, saboteurs, and provocateurs, and they are increasingly driving them out of the country. The mass withdrawal of previously issued residence permits, endless checks by Lithuanian security forces make the life of the fugitives increasingly uncomfortable. Some of them have already moved from Lithuania to Poland and openly mock Vilnius in their channels and networks. Naturally, Vilnius does not remain in debt and beats those who have not yet left. Basically nothing new. Any society is hostile to its socials, and vice versa. By the way, this summer, the National State Radio of Lithuania, citing data from the sociological service Baltic Research, reported that a third of Lithuanians expressed their willingness to pay compensation instead of accepting migrants. But this does not apply to Belarusian fugitives. It seems Vilnius has already recognized them.